So you found time to be less relevant when you're having fun. So that's another point. We said when you're doing what you love to do, when you're doing something fun, okay, so time becomes irrelevant. Well, here's another one, just to throw into the equation. When you're doing what's true for you. Why is it when you're doing what's true for you, time disappears? Which is what you love to do, right? But sometimes what you love to do, you're thinking, oh, I love to fly planes, I love to play volleyball, I love to play tennis, you know, like. But sometimes what's true for you, you just feel to say it. Like you may be coming from love. Like it may feel true for me to say something to someone, right? That's not under the same category. Oh, I love to do this. Do you know what I mean? It's just it feels true. There's no reason. I just felt to say this. I felt to do this, and it wasn't under the category. I love doing this. I love playing tennis. I love speaking. It wasn't under the I love category. So it's a little bit of, yes, it's coming from love, right? When you're doing what's true for you, but it's just under a little bit of a different category. It's like you felt moved to do it. When you do what you love to do, you also feel moved to do it. You also feel it's true. But there's this part of you that's just like, this is fun. Like it's a fun, loving thing. I love doing this. But sometimes when you do something that's true for you, you felt moved to do it. Now when you're doing it, you feel love, you feel light, you feel joyful, because you're doing what's true for you. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to get at here is that not only are you experiencing time disappear when you're doing what you love to do, or when you're doing what's true for you. You stay, well first of all, why does time disappear?
Because you're not in the future or in the past.
Because what feels true or what you love is coming from the presence. Love is the essence of the present moment. So you don't need to try to be present. You know, all the time people come up to me, I did the WTF just last weekend, people came up to me and they go, how many times do you do that meditation? When I did the oneness meditation, how many times do you do that, practice that? I go, never. I've never even done it. They're like, well, why do you get us to do it? Because people ask me, what does it feel like? So then one day I went, all right, close your eyes, let's do a meditation. I didn't know what I was going to do, and everyone said, oh, it was amazing, so I just kept doing it. But I'm doing it for you guys. But if you're doing what's true for you, if you're doing what you love to do, you won't need to do that. Because, and I told this person, why do you meditate? Because she's like, massive believer in meditation, which I'm not dissing. If that's a practice you do, continue with it. And I said, why do you meditate? She goes, to stay present. I said, well, if I was not present, then I'll meditate too. Can you see what I'm saying? But when you're doing what's true for you, when you're coming from your true essence, when you're doing what you love to do, you're coming from presence. The only thing that will take me away from presence is when my ego will kick in and go and try to control or predict what the outcome or why I'm doing this. Like when I started OMG, for example, I felt to start OMG, you know, some of you have been around, Sandy, you were around from the very beginning when OMG started. I won't go to the story, but the point is it got started, and then somewhere down the line, this OMG program was so powerful, I was like, well, obviously, and I predicted where it's going. It's an assumption. Well, obviously, I'm going to be doing more OMGs. So then I started all these OMG groups. I had 2 groups in Sydney that were like full, 30, 40 people in both groups. I had a group in Melbourne, had a group in LA, and I was about to start a group in Brisbane, a group in Auckland, and a group in New York. Because I was like, obviously, it's going to grow, and obviously I'm going to do more of it. I love doing it. And then I just felt resistance. It's like, that's not it. You see, I thought to myself, that's where it's going. Because what happens is when you're doing what's true for you, you're doing it because it feels true for you. And it's unfolding moment to moment. But this comes in and goes, well, I can see where this is going. Takes over. That's when I'm not present. That's when I fall out of the flow. That's when I go, there's resistance. There was resistance in some of the OMG groups. There was resistance in, in me going, well, hang on a second, I'm going to do one in New York, I'm going to do one in New Zealand, I'm going to do one how am I going to do this, right? So, and then I was like, don't worry about the how, and and then I was just like, but no, it doesn't feel 100%. There's a resistance. It's like not like the boat story. I felt like getting a boat, but the boat falls into. I feel like I'm going to be in a relationship. The relationship falls into my lap. Like it just falls into my. It wasn't like that. And I know when something's not happening, there's a reason. So I stop. Keep pushing against it is taking me further and deeper out of presence. I stop. And when I stop, I realize that's not where OMG is going. OMG is going online. I didn't know that. I thought I was clever by doing more groups. And I could see if I do more groups, and one day maybe someone in the group will become a facilitator, and there'll be just like hundreds of groups. That's where I thought it was going. But then there was resistance, so I stopped. And when I stopped, one day, it was revealed that I'm putting a camera in the middle. Oh, OMG is going online. See, I didn't know that. And you know what amazes me? When I see how it unfolded, or how it unfolds, I think to myself, I couldn't have planned it any better if I was planning it myself. But I didn't plan that. But I couldn't have planned that any better. And people looking, they go, wow, he's genius. Well, of course. Of course I'm genius. Of course when I'm doing what's true for me, which means I'm coming from infinity, infinity's genius. Of course. Sometimes I do things and I'm just doing it because it feels true. Someone goes, genius marketing. Fucking off, genius marketing. Do you think it's not going to be genius marketing if it's coming from the one? It's genius. But the drive is different. The drive is not driven towards an agenda, but it's still genius. I couldn't have planned it better myself. I could just imagine right now, getting ready for 2014, booking all my flights to New York, to New Zealand, once a month, to Brisbane, to Melbourne, to Sydney, 2 groups in Sydney, probably popping out the 3rd one by now, if I was still on that path. Instead, I'm looking at 2014, and it's just empty calendar. Got a couple of 4 events that I'm doing in LA, 4 events that I'm doing in Sydney. A couple of others I'll do if I feel to do it. No, like I feel to do a WTF. Let's do a WTF. I feel to do an Intuitive Warrior. Let's do an Intuitive Warrior. I couldn't have planned it better myself. I'm so inspired and moved for my 2014 next year, when next year comes around, because it's filled with just empty calendar. And the more empty I make it, the bigger I start living. I can't understand it. I mean, I'm not going to try. The less I do, the easier it becomes. You see, because at the beginning, what happens is the ego comes in and goes, you start to do what's true for you. One thing is to do what's true for you. The other thing is to stay to do what's true for you. Because when I start to do what's true for you, it starts to become effortless, and you're like, oh, what a great program. And then it goes, this is where OMG is going. I took over. Like, I don't want to get involved in the planning, and I'm not planning, but at this stage, when I'm talking about OMG, which was this time, maybe this time last year or earlier, my mind's going, I'm not planning, but it's obvious where it's going. No. It works in infinite ways. What's obvious is not that obvious. It's not as obvious as you think. When it happens, you go, oh, obviously, what a wonderful, genius! genius. Of course it's genius. If you were following what's true for you, you'd be genius too. But the drive is different. When you're doing what's true for you, you're coming from a sense of fulfillment. You're already full. Why? Because you're in the now. But when you're not in the now and you're past and future, then you're trying to overcompensate your lack of being in the now by doing something that will bring you into the now. Or not bring you into the now, do something that brings, how do I word this? To do something that, there's a block. To do the thing that you normally do, that you normally receive when you're in the now. Like we spoke about, when you're in the now, you experience love, you experience freedom, you experience security, if you like to put that one in there as well. So then because you're not experiencing, let's say, love, freedom, and security, then you look at gaining love, freedom, and security from what you do, from the past or the future. And when I say the past is influencing how you see the future. Have I lost you, or are you still with me?
Just repeat.
I can't repeat it. People are looking for what they already have. In this moment, you experience, in the nothingness, you experience love and freedom. That's ultimately what everyone's looking for. They're looking, and some people call freedom security, some people call options, whatever. Okay? Love and freedom. That's what people look. When you have love, you experience freedom. Your freedom is in the love that you have. Right? It's right here, right now. But when someone is not here right now, they are then looking for love and freedom in what they do that's future, past related. So in this case, they're looking towards the future and going, if only I can have that, then I will have more love. Then I will be more fun. Then I'll have more options. But the thing is, you already have it. But you have it in the now, not in the future. Everything that we've spoken about so far in the last 11 months takes place in the now. Reclaim power in the now. Manifestation in the now. Space is the present moment. Unconditional love, infinite love, the space, the now. Thoughts, we spoke about thoughts. Thoughts are past and future related. We spoke about creative thoughts, the thoughts of now in the now. What else have we done this year? Willingness in the now. Ego when you're not in the now. Ego doesn't exist in the now. There's no such thing as ego. That's why you can't experience fear in the now. But like I said to you, it starts with the present moment. But the present moment is the moment of the story. It's the moment of time. This, right now, I am speaking to you in the present moment of this time. But when you connect deeper into the present moment, it's the same feeling as when you expand into the nothingness. When you expand into the nothingness, you feel everything. When you go deeper into the moment now, when you go deeper into the now, you experience everything that ever was, everything that ever is, as though it already exists. You feel like there's nowhere else to be. In the nothingness, you feel like there's nothing to have. There's nothing to do. It's just, at first it's an alien feeling, because you're like, but I've got to do something. So, when is now the time? Or when is, what did we say? Hey?
When is now the right time?
No, when is now the time? There's no right, there's no right. That's what I said, isn't it?
Okay. Yes.
When is now the time? There's no right in there. It's not right or wrong. When is now the time? When the time is now. Remember that little slogan for you. When the time is now, then now will be the time.
Present moment.
No, that's it. When the time is now, now will be the time. But it takes people some time to realize that the time is now. Some people need to be baked. The cake needs time to be baked, to be ready. Or some people need time on their journey to get to the point of realizing the time was always now. And when they realize the time is now, then now is the time. Now is the time for whatever it is that you feel. There's nothing else. Last month or the month before we spoke about meaning and purpose. We said it doesn't have any meaning and purpose. The only meaning and purpose life has is the meaning and purpose you're giving to it. Well, same with time. There's nothing but now. And the deeper you fall into the now, the more connected you become with everything that ever was and everything that ever will be. Which is the transcending of time. It's timeless. Time is there to bound your story. It's there to glue your story together. It's there to glue all the moments of now together. That's what time is there for. It limits this moment. It limits the now. You are not bound by time. You just manifested time to experience your journey. To experience being born. To experience today. To experience yesterday. To experience tomorrow. But that's all it's there for, to experience. Just like when I talk about when everything is one energy. When everything is one energy and you are all one energy, you're not looking to control things or own things. Everything's already yours. When everything's already yours, you don't need to, work your way to. You just use it. You pick it up and you use it. My little voice now goes, well, why can't you have that? Because you get everything else you want. I just got to make sure it's not saying that when it's something that's not true for me. Because it'll say the same thing. When something's not true for me, and I'm coming agenda-driven, the little voice also goes, well, why can't you have that? You have everything else. Just got to be careful when it's talking. But it's looking at things, it's just like, well, why can't you present? You're always present. It's become my friend. It's not a fight anymore. It's a friend. My little voice doesn't understand why your little voice doesn't understand. Imagine you had that disease. I want to create a disease in this world. That, you know how pharmaceutical drugs companies create diseases so they can sell drugs? Well, imagine I created a disease that ate away the part of your brain that goes to the past and future. You can only go there for like 8 or 9 seconds, 10 seconds, and then you drop back into... Imagine all you had was now. What would happen? It's called Alzheimer's. I wonder what it's like with someone like that. If they stop trying to remember and actually experience right now. Imagine for yourself, all there was now. Because that's true. Walk out of here today, if every moment was just now, what would happen to your life? Like, I mean now, not being here, thinking about tomorrow, and going, oh, I'm here. You know, I have thoughts that take me into the future. I have questions about where I want to go next. But I don't look for the answers from the place that I asked the question from. I may look into the future and go, well, what do I want to do in 2014? But I don't look for the answer in the future. I just pose the question there. I come back here because the answer's here. When I ponder, I don't ask the question and look outside of me. I ask the question. I don't look for the answer intellectually. I just use my intellect to ask the question. I realize the answer here. I just come back to here. When I first started my journey of being present, I remember, I think I read an Eckhart Tolle book. Eckhart's book, The Power of Now. And he spoke about presence, and I was like, what's that? I had no idea. What is presence? So then I went to a 10-day silent retreat where you just meditate for 10 days. I lasted 3. 3 days I lasted, and I had a moment of presence. So then I went to them and go, that's it, I got what I wanted, thank you, I'm leaving. They said, no, you can't leave. I said, yeah, I'm leaving. Thank you, and I left. That's how long I lasted, 3 days. I was more advanced than the other people. I found it in 3 days. No, I'm just joking. I'm kidding. And then I had friends who I really looked up to who went and did this silent retreat, some of them up to 30 or 40 days. And then in the last 3 days, they couldn't eat, they couldn't sleep. I think they could just drink water. Like, oh my God. And I was like, wow, you guys are amazing. But then they'll come back in their everyday life and they weren't happy. And I realized it was because they couldn't sustain the presence. They would tell me about the bliss and the amazing presence, the freedom that they felt in the moments of those silent retreats. But they weren't there anymore. That's when I started to go, you know, yeah, okay, maybe you meditate, sit on a rock for a little while and have those moments. And I think it'll be very supportive. But it's not that supportive if you can't live. If you can't live from that presence. And why couldn't most people live from that presence? Because they would go again and be doing things out of need. The need to be loved. Now I'm not saying don't meditate. Who meditates here? Obviously it's supportive. Then do it. All I'm saying is that if you can't then go live what's true for you, well, you can meditate as much as you want. You're not going to sustain the presence. You'll sustain it every 20 minutes or 1 hour in the day, and that will become longer and longer. But the moment you go and do what you need to do, the moment you go live from fear, the moment you take the thoughts in the past, and you're gone. You came here to live life. You know what the biggest drawback between you and a person who's facing death is? And I mean like a person who's facing death, they've been told you've got cancer, you've got a tumor, you've got 2 weeks to live, you've got 3 months to live. Do you know what the biggest drawback between you and that person who's facing death is? The biggest drawback is that you're not facing death. That's your biggest drawback. You know what the biggest benefit is? Is that you're not facing death. Because if you had a moment of experiencing what a person who's facing death and they're on their deathbed and they've got 3 months or 3 weeks to live, if you realize what they realized, your life for the rest of your life here, you will be present. You will never take anything for granted, and you will give up on the future and the past. Seriously, Who knows someone who's been in that position before? How many people do you know who've faced death or been in a near-death experience, and it all becomes about now after that? It becomes about doing what they love to do, which allows you to stay in the now. And it becomes about living for the now. That's all there is. Your greatest practice, if you could take any greatest practice, I would say your greatest practice from this program would always be, I've always said, is to be the ability to place your attention on the truth. But I'm going to change that now and say your greatest practice that you could ever have is your ability to recognize this moment. Because if you can recognize this moment, then you place your attention on the truth. Your attention will fall onto the truth. Take your attention off the illusion, your attention will fall onto the truth. What's the illusion? The past and future. Take your attention away from the past and future. Don't look for the now. Like love, I say love is something that finds you. You don't find love. Same thing. Don't look for the now. The now will find you. All you got to do is take your attention away from the illusion. Take your attention away from the drop. Your attention will fall onto the ocean. Take your attention away from the past and future. It just naturally falls onto where it naturally is, which is the present moment. That's all there is. You live in now, you live for now. That's it. Everything you're looking for, truth, love, oneness, inspiration, everything that you've ever been looking for is right underneath your nose. It's in who you are. Well, guess who you are? This moment now. What's the nothingness? It's who you are. What's the one moment? It's who you are. It's formless. Then you form who you are into the form. You form it and you give it boundaries by giving time. Who wants to share with me how they find the present moment? How do you find this moment now? There's probably lots of tools you can use. Meditation, find your breath, place your attention on your feet, place your attention on your hands. Lots of little things that you could do. And I'm sure you have you're all truth circus. We're on the truth circus. You're all truth seekers. So I'm sure everyone's got the little things that they do to find the now. All right? But just like anything, all right, it's about giving something space. You find the now by giving something space. You place your attention on your feet, your attention goes away from your thoughts. Your attention goes away from your thoughts, your attention goes away from the past and future. You place your attention on your breath, your attention goes away from here. Take your attention off the illusion, your attention will fall onto the truth. You do what's true for you, you stay in the moment. You then try to control what's true for you and try to determine why you're doing it or how you're doing it, you lose your flow because you go into the future. You come from the past. You bring your skills of what you experienced in the past. Well, this is how I can do it because in the past I did this, and well, this could be good for the future, and then you go into planning. You are planning, not the plan unfolding. It amazes me how many people can't do this when what I'm talking about, is actually who you are. It's easier to be who you are than who you're not. It's a lot of work to keep up the front of who you're not. And who you're not is who you think you should be, how you could be, or it would be, all that stuff. It's more difficult to be and keep up the front of who you're not. Drop the front. Take your attention off the illusion, you fall onto the truth. Realize the time is now, and now will be the time. You've experienced this in your lives. You've experienced when you are being present. Everything becomes light. Everything becomes easy. You become carefree. You're out of your mind. That's what your practice is all about. You are practicing to be out of your mind. Like me, out of your mind. There's all these beings practicing to be who they already are. And they have all these different practices, formulas, modules, curriculums, tools, techniques, strategies, philosophies, modalities, in practicing to become who they already are. It's like, how fucked up is that? It reminds me of my mum. She comes to the retreat most times. In fact, the last retreat she's been there, every one. And I sit down with her at the retreat one day, have lunch with her, and everybody's walking around and they're just coming out of the retreat circle. And I gave them an exercise. So they were doing the exercise, they were doing it, and then my mum goes, look at these people, they're all crazy. I said, why are they crazy, Mum? She goes, because it's all the ones looking for the one. They already are what they're looking for, and they're looking for it. Crazy motherfuckers, she said. No, she didn't say that. When I was young, I used to tell me and my sisters used to sit down and go, Mum, say motherfucker. Mum, say shit. Mum, say, we would teach her rude words. Ali, edit that out. Because I just realised my mum watches this sometimes. And everything is light. When I started this morning, I said, guys, relax. I don't know why you're all tense. Well, maybe it wasn't all of you, but I felt the tenseness in the room. Like, relax. It's light. It's not that serious. Truth has a great connection, but that connection is not serious. Head is serious. Heart is not serious. Heart is present. Heart is seriously present. Head is just serious. Serious about nothing. About, well, everything. Relax. Even you looking for the truth, don't look for it seriously. Just do what you love. Just keep bringing yourself into the moment. I'm telling you, and I shared that story about the meditations because I want to share with you how far from the present moment I used to be. And if I can come and become who I have become and realize what I've realized and live the way I live and share what I share with people and connect with people, seriously, you can. Seriously, you can. But just don't play these games with yourself. Bring yourself in the present moment, you won't play those games. When the time is now, now will be the time. But you may spend some time in recognizing that the time is now. And that takes some time. But when you realize the time is now, then now will be the time. You just play. You didn't come here for anything more. You came here to play. The only serious thing that I do in my life is getting people to realize that they came here to play. It's like, even that there's a lightness and jokingness with the people. Don't take it so seriously. And just know that it is only when you are in time, when you're trying to make time or save time. Anytime you're trying to make time, like get there or save time, then know you're in time. The idea is not to be in time. The idea is to let time be there, but then bring space into time. Just like everything else I've been talking about. Give it space. We talk about reclaiming power. Give it space. We talk about emotions you're feeling. Give it space. We're talking about, lack of money, lack of opportunities, lack of belief. Give it space. You talk about not being present. Give it space. You just bring space into the time. And the time bends. You have to be somewhere in 10 minutes in the story or in time. You're not going to be there until 20 minutes. Give space to this moment, and before you know it, it's like the 10 minutes slowed down to 20 minutes, and you were there and you arrived 1 minute late, and it was not even possible. You didn't change the story, you slowed it down. The reason it seems slower is because it is. You slow it down. The reason time disappears is because it is disappearing. Your mind will go, well, it's not really, I just wasn't paying attention. The time is like a graph. You know at school you had graph? You draw what you want on that graph. Everything that I've been speaking about in the last 11 months, you will find now, here. It's all been stored there for you. It's stored online as well if you need it online. But online is here. It's all stored there for whenever you want to use it. When can you use it? When the time is now. When the time is now. Now is the time for you to live everything that I've been talking to you about. And that feeling that I described of being at the edge of the springboard and having to jump, it doesn't get any easier. Somewhere, someday, you're going to jump into that pool. If you haven't already. The longer you wait, the higher it seems. The bigger the leap that you have to make. It's just like being on the springboard. If you went there and just didn't think about it and had short amount of time, you'd just jump, it'd be easier. But if you stand there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it just gets more and more difficult. You may get more and more comfortable, and that's the dangerous part, is getting comfortable in being not present. And then people go, well, that's normal. I'm like, no, normal is to be present. It's easier to be present than not present. And they're like, yeah, but it's comfortable not to be present. And that's the danger. The danger is that people have found comfort in not being present. That they've built the reality around not being present and gone, that's the normal. How is that the normal when the present moment is who you are? But you only realize that when you come back to who you are, when you come back to now. There's no thinking in the now. There's no fear in the now. There's no ego in the now. There's no agenda in the now. There's just the now. Just love, just freedom, just the nothingness, but the nothingness that is everything. Questions, comments? Yes.
I was just going to offer something from Eckhart Tolle that I did I think it was in The Power of Now.
Yeah.
And it was where he got you to actually be aware of your thinking. And I would be going on a bushwalk and saying to listening to my thinking and going, past, present, past, future, past, future. And it was like this yo-yo going backwards and forwards the whole time until
Yeah.
you actually listen to your thoughts.
Yeah.
You don't realise how absolutely warped you are and how loose you're actually in the present moment,
Yeah.
except when you realise that you're in one way or the other, that you're there for a second,
Yeah.
and a second later you're saying the same thing over and over again. Nearly sent me insane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Just
Good reflection. Just be careful you're not watching your thoughts. Be aware of you being your thoughts and watching it. So in other words, if you're watching your thoughts and it's your thoughts watching your thoughts, there is a judgment. Bloody past, bloody future, and there's a label, right? When it's you, the observer, watching it, you're noticing the thoughts, but there's no judgment. You're just noticing how many times you go in the past and future, but you don't go in the past and future, you just notice it. It's different. It's a neutral space. When it's the thoughts watching it, you go with the thoughts into the past and future. When it's the part of you that's present and it's observing, it's an observation. It's a neutral observation. So there's no judgment of being in the past or future. And it's almost like even difficult to label it, I'm in the past or future. You just notice you're in the past or future. But yeah, good practice to observe your thoughts. The biggest practice I feel that I am inspiring people to do, and the biggest practice that I've done is just I stopped trying to fix myself and try to be present, try to be spiritual, because everyone who was present was speaking a certain way and they were acting a certain way, and I was like, but that wasn't my presence. My presence gets moved and I get loud, and my presence rides motorbikes and flies planes and loves life. It doesn't just sit and meditate. And I'm not dissing that, right? So I just wanted to, my presence came from me being myself, and stop trying to, fix, improve, or even change my own ego. I allowed myself to be present when I was just like, well, if that's my ego, let it be. So be it. That's my ego. It stopped fighting with me. We became buddies after that. There is no right way. That's all I'm saying to you. I realized that when I just started just to be myself and just really do what I love to do. I was like, oh, I shouldn't do that. Maybe, or that's not spiritual. Well, maybe someone would think that's not loving. Well, fuck it, I'm not loving then. Because that's what I feel to do. But what if that was ego in me? Well, then that was ego. Like, there's just no control. I let go of complete control of myself, of trying to do this, be, oh my, even what about when I didn't follow what's true for me? You're shocking. You can't follow what's true for you. So be, well, so what? I didn't follow what's true for me. What are you going to do about it? Like, I just let go of everything. I don't have to follow what's true for me. I don't have to follow my ego. I may follow my ego. Like, I just let go of control. This is who I am. And I'm going to be who I am. And I'm going to do what I do. And if I want to have that, I will have that. Even if people think that's not spiritual. And that's my main essence. To try to get people to realize that spirituality is not this practice or that modality, or it's you being alive. That's all it is. And when you're alive, you're present. You're in the now. And when you're in the now, you get to know yourself. No rules. No control. We think we've got to let go of control out there. The biggest control you've got to let go of here. Oh, I should be this way. I should. Even right now, like you might go away, oh, I've got to do what feels true for me. Well, you don't gotta. Because then you create another rule. Because if I don't do what's true for me, then it's, you know, then I'm not going to be like Amir, or I'm not going to go down on my path, or, you know, I'm going to have a difficult life. Well, so what? It's just a different experience. Experience what you're here to experience. That's the biggest thing I could say, and I hope that you can take away from completing this OMG program. Feel who you are, feel your essence, and be who you are. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to, just do what you feel to do. You feel to go on a diet, go on a diet. You don't feel like going on a diet, don't go on a diet. Just, the point is, just observe everything that you do. At the beginning, it's like a friend of mine, she said she was tired of dieting, so she goes, I'm not going to diet anymore. She lives in New York, right? She goes, I'm not going to diet anymore. She stopped dieting, and she just started eating all the foods that she thought that she shouldn't eat, right? Put on all this weight, but then she got tired of that, and then she started eating what she continued to eat what she felt to eat, but she stopped eating the things that she shouldn't eat, because at the beginning, you're just eating stuff that you've told yourself not to eat. And she became bigger, and then naturally just came back to her normal spot, but she's not dieting anymore. Because if you think, oh, I should always follow what's true for me, then you will create all these things to not follow what's true for you. You know what I'm saying? If you think, I shouldn't eat this, you create all these temptations of wanting to eat that, because you told yourself you can't have it. If you tell yourself, I have to follow what's true for me, there's going to be all these temptations of not following what's true for you. It's simple. And then people will control you with all that stuff. But some people need to be controlled until they get the key of their own mind. Until you find your own key, then you need disciplines. You need, you know, and I say control is another discipline. You need discipline. You need to tame yourself. But once the dog is tamed, it's a little puppy. Good little puppy. Some of you are very tired, you look exhausted, because it can be very heavy conversation. Because the ego is continuously going to fight to take you out of the present moment. But that's okay. Don't go, oh my God, that's me. I was the one who was really tired. So, the moment you think you should be this way, it would be this way, it could be this way, it's going to be an endless battle. It is what it is. And contemplate, that's all I say, contemplate the conversation we had this morning. One energy, one moment. What does that mean? One energy, one moment.